I am ready. I'm ready for March to be just more like just guns blazing kind of energy is what I'm feeling. I don't know if you're feeling this too. I'm very curious. I would love to hear what you're feeling. But this is what I'm kind of like what's stirring up inside of me. So as I started to think about how my word of the year, which is excellence, plays a part in this month, and how I want to step into more momentum and more energy and like more output. The theme that I came up with for March is drum roll, please. Hey, listener, welcome to episode number 96 of Listen Up. And welcome to the first day of March 2026. If you know me, then you know that I love when a sacred Sunday lands on the same day as the first day of the month. I just think it's such a fun reset and such a sacred way to step into a new month. And I just love it. So I'm excited that today is March 1st. And of course, I don't have to tell you how mind boggling it is that we are already in the third month of the year. February obviously is a shorter month, so it always feels like it goes by quickly, but man, it's incredible how quickly time flies as you get older. Um, I feel like we were just in starting the new year 5 minutes ago. But what I will say is that the one thing that keeps me rooted and grounded and pacing myself in these very quick months is this practice that I have of living with intention. My framework in the rhythm that I've created in my life of reflection, decision, action, noticing, naming, and nurturing has been a game changer because it requires me to pause and just take a minute to notice what worked, what didn't work, where am I and where am I going, instead of just letting every single day catch me by surprise and allowing life to become a reactive experience where it's just life is coming at you fast and you don't stop to take a breath. So, hopefully, today's episode is your opportunity to take a deep breath. So, let's just do that right now. Let's make today about taking a deep breath and setting an intention for a new month, for a new season, for a new opportunity to start over again, to reset, to reframe, to get grounded, to replenish, and to re energize. That is the beauty of living with intention, is that we have this opportunity to do this every month, rinse and repeat, to create a ritual that keeps us in rhythm. I just absolutely love it. So, if you were with me in February, then you know that the theme that I chose for the Bliss and Up Collective in February was Faithful February. And before we can move forward in announcing the theme that we have for March, it is important to take a quick look back at what February meant to you and to me. So I chose this theme, Faithful February, and I have to be honest with you, it was such an appropriate theme. I've said this in the past. There are themes that you adopt in the month and they kind of come and they go. Maybe sometimes you don't quite live up to them, or you kind of forget about them, or they don't have that same impact on you, and that's okay. I mean, it's every month can't pack the same punch, but there are certain themes that when you adopt that theme, it just consumes your heart and your soul. It's a theme that becomes very sticky, and it sticks to every thought that you have, to every action you perform. It just works, it lands. And I feel that Faithful February was that theme for me. And I don't know if it was the same for you, but I'd love to know. Um, so, Faithful February, it started as me wanting to step into this month asking the question, what would my next move be if I were truly coming from a place of faith? That's that simple. What would my next thought, choice, action, move be if I were truly coming from a place of faith? And I think the reason that I asked that question is because I shared with you in one of my previous episodes, I can't remember which one, but it was in December, about the what's in and what's out of the year. When I was preparing for the new year, one of the practices that I have is that I choose what's in for the year and what's out for the year. And there have been years that I don't choose anything for out because I just want to bring more things in. But this year in particular, I had one out. I wanted one thing out of my life. And it was the question, how do I? How can I? I don't know how to do this thing. It's not that it's not a good question. How do I do this thing? It's that I feel that a lot of the things that have paralyzed me in my life have stemmed from the thought, I don't know how to do this thing. And I think the reason for that, and I've learned that this month, it's not that I think I don't know how to do this. I think it's that the real thought like the underlying thought, the root thought is, I don't know how to do this correctly. I don't know how to do this in the best way. I don't know how to do this in order to avoid all mistakes, all hiccups, all flaws. I don't know how to do this as the path of least resistance. And that is paralyzing to me. It has been paralyzing to me in the past. The thought, I don't know how to do this, ends up creating a lot of thinking energy in my brain. And then I don't execute as quickly or as efficiently as I would if I asked a different question or if I had a different thought. So, Faithful February was inspiring me and prompting me to replace, I don't know how to do this, or how would I do this, with the thought, if I had faith that no matter what I do, it's okay, what would I do? If I had faith that I know the answer, what is the answer? If I had faith that every path is going to lead me into alignment because I am coming from a place of integrity and alignment, would I be afraid of the detours? Would I be afraid of the challenges? That's where I wanted to trigger my brain. Now, one of the things that I thought I was going to do to nurture Faithful February was that I was going to sit in meditation every day for extended periods of time. That was one of my goals. I really wanted to nurture a meditation practice. And interestingly, I had been nurturing a pretty strong meditation practice in just January. And I was really focused on meditation. And I thought I was just going to carry that into February. But February for me has been a month where I'm still grappling with sleep. I'm still grappling with my schedule. There have been moments where I can't wake up on time. I'm still trying to get adjusted to this perimenopause phase that I'm in my life, simultaneously to having teenagers, and just I'm in a season that I'm kind of like working things out. So my mornings have shifted a little bit, and sometimes I don't wake up with enough time to be able to sit in meditation. And I haven't nurtured that practice nearly as much as I wanted to. And the reason I'm bringing that up for you right now is because this is one of the things that I see my clients do most often. When they have a goal or a plan or a way that they're going to nurture a theme, and then they don't do that plan perfectly, they automatically feel like they failed at the theme. They have failed at nurturing their intentions. They are failing, period. They use this tool against themselves, and then they feel shame, or they feel like they're not good enough, or if they feel like they have to reset and try again next month because this month was a failure, and all that kind of stuff. But I believe in not having an all or nothing mentality. And I believe in documenting and looking for evidence of the things that are working, which is another way of saying success filing, which I learned from my coach, Susan Ford Collins, in the book, The Joy of Success. And it's noticing the wins that you are having. So even though I didn't nurture a faithful meditation practice religiously this month, I will tell you what I did do and where I noticed the magic. I spent a lot of time in inner deep reflection. I'd be washing the dishes in the morning, which I was doing instead of meditating, because at night I'm too tired to wash the dishes. So then I end up procrastinating till the next morning and then washing them in the next morning because I'm kind of a morning person. And I don't want my kitchen to look like a disaster all day. So I rather wash the dishes than sit in meditation. And instead of judging myself for that, what I would do while I was washing the dishes, turn it into a mindfulness, meditative experience. And I would think about faith, and I would think about my day, and I would think about the question, how would I show up today if I had faith? And I would think about my work. What would be my next right thing if I was operating from a place of faith? I would think about my kids and my husband. That was one thing that I did that worked a lot. And I did that in the mornings. And then at night, I would play an evening meditation, and I would often fall asleep within like 20 seconds of listening to the meditation. So I never really felt like I did the meditation, but I would set the intention that I was going into sleep through meditation. And I would always end the evening with a thought about faith, and a thought about if I were to hand over my life to truly having faith in my process, in my principles, in my practices, in my intuition, in myself, in that life is working in my favor. What would my next day look like? What would my life look like? So I didn't meditate per se, because I never actually like went through a whole meditation at night. I always fell asleep, and I wasn't sitting down quietly in the morning, but I implemented, I integrated this theme the best way that I could with what my season looks like right now. And it felt deeply rooted and deeply powerful. Another thing that happened as a result of Faithful February, which I did not expect, is how often it came up without me prompting it. For example, I did a podcast episode with Lulu. It was an interview of my friend Lulu. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I was asking her all these questions. And I never once mentioned to her that my theme for February was Faithful February. I never once talked to her about that. Like she and I we have a great relationship, but she's not in my inner life, and she doesn't follow my work necessarily. So she didn't know. And yet, when I was interviewing her and asking her questions, the conversation led into trust and faith, which I believe are interchangeable. And I didn't know that the conversation was going to lead that way because I hadn't prompted her with those questions. They were organic questions, and I never had that conversation with her. And because of that, I ended up learning a lot about her spiritual journey, even off camera. Later, we got to talk about it. And I learned a lot about how spirituality has impacted her life and changed the direction of her life, and how it's changed how she operates, coming from a place of faith. And she's a woman that I see as a woman that really, really prides herself on not operating from a place of fear. And I feel she's been deeply rewarded for having faith in herself, in creating a life of design, in feeding the desires that she has, as long as they are aligned with her wellness principles. It's been really fascinating to watch. So that popped up. And then indirectly, I also saw it pop up in a lot of my relationships behind the scenes, like with my kids and my husband and some of my family members. There were some issues that came up in the month and some challenges that presented themselves in the month. And faith took a front row seat in the whole experience. And it was interesting because something that I caught myself experiencing was I would have a thought, and then the next day, that thought would manifest itself into a reality. And I started realizing that my thoughts were prayers. Like I wasn't sitting down and saying, "Oh God, please let this happen," but it was more like, "Oh my God, if I had faith that this would lead in this direction, or if if this were to happen and I could show faith in this way," and then the next day it would like become reality. It was like magic. And it's funny because I still, after all this time, struggle sometimes with admitting out loud what a magical thinker I am. I still struggle with it because I'm like, oh my God, some of my critical thinking friends are going to judge me for being such a magical thinker and thinking that this is all fluff and, becoming so woo woo. Like, I still struggle with that. But I can't help it. The more that I implement this habit of looking for evidence of magic, the more I find it. And like I said last week, it's confirmation bias. I have just started to look for evidence of the life I long to create, and I keep finding it. So, Faithful February has been strong and it's been meaningful. And I'm so grateful for the month I had and grateful for the experience of really allowing myself in this winter season to focus on the inner root work of faith to the exclusion of anything else. I loved it. So then that leads me to, well, what do I want March to become? How do I want to step into this new month? Faith certainly worked for me, and it's definitely something I'm stacking on to my life. I'm never letting this go again. Faithful February, sticky theme. It's one for the books, kind of like Anchor August or Close the Loops October. There's some that they just really grab you, man, and this was one of them. But I am also ready to step into a new season, and I'm feeling it energetically. I'm feeling that, like, winter for me was a time to be a little bit slower paced, focus a little bit on more inner root work, um, plant seeds of my dreams, kind of just, I don't know, just get my bearings for 2026. This first quarter has been a little bit more about thinking about organization, systemizing, cleaning things up, changing the way that I think, hence faith. It's just been root work, is the best way for me to describe it. But I am starting to experience that desire to shift and do more outer work, more of like I'm just feeling the energy, the momentum building, like that, like kind of that jumpstart energy. I'm starting to feel it. And I am ready. I'm ready for March to be just more like, I, you know, just guns blazing kind of energy is what I'm feeling. I don't know if you're feeling this too. I'm very curious. I would love to hear what you're feeling. But this is what I'm kind of like what's stirring up inside of me. So as I started to think about how my word of the year, which is excellence, plays a part in, in this month, and how I want to step into more momentum and more energy and like more output, the theme that I came up with for March is, drum roll please, Mastery March. Mastery March. To be truly excellent at something requires mastery of that thing. And this is the year that I want to become a person who seeks mastery in the things that are important to me. Now, I've done this in the past. When I dive deep into something like eating healthy or decluttering my house, um, or starting a podcast, like I writing a book, running a marathon, like I already have experience with grabbing a skill that I want to adopt, or a lifestyle I want to embody, or a habit I want to master, and really allowing myself to be consumed by that and focus on that and do it well and do it to the exclusion of other things or to the prioritization of other things and nail it the best way I know how. Not maybe not nail it all the time, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not an all or nothing kind of person. So nailing it based on my definition of success. So I've had some practice with this. And this March, I want to feel mastery in my business, in my systems, in this new season. Like I said a little bit earlier, I've been struggling a little bit with sleep, not because I'm not sleeping well, but because my schedule has changed. My hormones have changed. My kids are teenagers. I feel myself stretching. I feel myself needing more capacity. I feel that what has worked for me up until now isn't necessarily going to work going forward. I feel myself requiring an upgrade, an up level, mastering this new season that I'm in. And I'm in for it. I'm all in for it. I am ready to focus on becoming masterful. So, how am I going to nurture that mastery this month? Well, for one thing, I'm going to study Robert Greene's material. He has a book on creating mastery. I'm going to study my Stoicism principles. Ryan Holiday, he has a book called The Daily Stoic. And I think if I remember correctly, one whole section is about mastery, about Stoic philosophy that helps you step into mastery. I believe mastery for March means eliminating what is not essential. And instead of doing more, it means doing less well, which means I'm going to have to make some decisions because I've been trying to do a lot at once and wear a lot of different hats at the same time. And if I'm truly going to become a master, I'm going to have to let some things go. So I'm going to have to decide what that is. I'm not 100% sure yet, but that's what this month is for. This month is to study that, to explore that, to nurture that theme. Now, I do want to share something with you because this is important. Living with intention isn't about perfection. Living with intention is about progress. That is one of the reasons why we habit stack. We stack our intentions and we pick directions to focus toward and then nurture that direction. Just because Mastery March is my theme doesn't mean that I'm going to become masterful at every single thing that I've ever done in my whole life this month. It doesn't mean that I'm going to achieve the highest level of mastery in my life ever. What it means is that I'm headed in that direction. That's become my North Star. And it's going to nurture the decisions I make, the thoughts I choose, the actions I allow in my life. So for this month, I'm going to operate from, if I were to do this, is this what I would do if I were masterful at X, Y, and Z? Is this what mastery looks like? Am I a person who's operating in survival mode or in mastery mode? And why? And who do I need to become to operate in mastery mode? These are the questions that I'm going to be asking of myself. And I might not get it perfect. I might not get it at all, but I am going to go for it. I'm going to nurture that. I'm going to head in that direction. Does that mean that I'm going to stop asking the question, if I truly were coming from a place of faith, what would my next action be? Of course not. That's in my soul already. I've had an entire month to start thinking in that process. And what I love about it is, like, I was thinking about faith already in January. I started thinking about mastery in February. So this is not clean cut. It's not like we start today mastery, we end mastery. No, it's forever. But it is super intentional. It is super directional. It just creates a skill set of resilience, of emotional intelligence, of clarity, and of purposeful direction. That's what I want for you. So today, I invite you to think about what your theme is for March. Sit down and notice, what did February look like? How did it support you? What theme did you choose? Did you integrate it? Did you forget about it? No judgment, just honest reflection. And then ask yourself, who do I want to step into in March? What do I want to focus on? What do I want my March to look like? What would it feel like if I could do this theme really well? Who would I become? And then you get to spend the rest of the month enjoying how that theme expands, noticing where it pops up in your life, noticing how indirectly and almost magically it starts to show up in the people's lives that you love. And it allows you to connect the dots and realize how you can shape your reality and create your reality when you live with intention. This is what I want for you today and every day. And by the way, if this is something that you want to do with me, like you want to actually live this work, I highly recommend that you look at my group program, The Well. I'll put the link in the show notes. We are working through this stuff every Wednesday. It's Well Wednesdays. We are creating a community that together we are holding ourselves accountable. We are thinking through these concepts and we are living with intention and changing and transforming the way we show up in the world. It is priceless. And if you have any questions about it, please reach out to me. I love to hear from you. I love to support you. And I love to know that you are on the other end of this microphone, listening, receiving, and nurturing a life of intention for yourself. That's why I love to stay connected with you. All right, so that's all I got for you on this Sacred Sunday. Let's get started in this beautiful month of March. And I will see you next week.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for being here. I am deeply, deeply grateful to connect. If you're loving this podcast, I'd love if you'd follow, rate, or leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Those reviews help us so, so much. And if you know of someone who could really use a voice like mine in their head, please share this episode with them. Now, if you're feeling called to keep the conversation going, come join us inside the Bliss and Up community on Facebook. It is a free space to reflect and root into intention together. You can find the link in the show notes or just search Bliss and Up with Caroline de Posada on Facebook. I'd love to welcome you in. Until next time, take care and keep noticing the sparks of bliss in your life.